Hello my beautiful creatives, and welcome back to my art channel. My name is Chrissie B, and I'm a creativity coach hoping to inspire you to live a more creative life every day. Now, this is a little bit different video for me. I'm going to give you a little tour of my art studio, and when I mean little, I mean little. This is the smallest art studio I've ever had in my entire adult life, and I'm a little bit nervous. For some reason, this has been really hard for me to film. I don't know why. I've also been promising a tour of our trailer, and I realized that giving you a tour of my art studio gives you a tour of the majority of our trailer. So I thought before I got too far ahead that I would take a minute to kind of give you a little spin and let you see what my trailer looks like at the moment. It is not usually this clean, full disclosure. It gets this clean at least once a day, but I do have puppies and I have a husband, and it's a very tiny space. So as soon as anyone walks in and drops whatever it is they have on, their coats, their shoes, their bags, it kind of fills up pretty quickly. Here is my little trailer. There's the kitchen, the living room. This is a queen size, it's a couch that turns into a queen size bed, and underneath where the puppies are sitting, that's the puppies' little play place, sleeping area. There is storage underneath that chaise right there, which is kind of cool. Our front door, there's a hallway down to our bedroom. I have a guitar in the hallway and then some coats. There are some storage things right next to the television stand that's all built in. Puppy play stuff, magazines. Over in that far corner over there is a cubicle bookcase that we have put some drawers in that we use for a dresser. And my husband's chair. And then you'll see my art studio here in just a moment. So this is what you see when you first walk into my trailer. There is the living room area. There's my art studio right there. My puppies in their little spot looking at me like, "Mom, what are you doing?" There's a kitchen back there. And lots of storage. So that is what my art studio looks like from the front door. I have my art table set up on an alpha system. 3 different shelves, 3 alpha shelves with bunches of drawers. And then I have this little cabinet thing, this little chest thing here. That is my hope chest that my grandfather made for me when I was a little girl. He was a professional artist, and this was a box that he had made out of some orange crates, which I love. It is one of my treasured belongings, so that's where that lives. Let's see, this container right here holds all of my small journals, my altered books, just little itty-bitty things. And then this stack right next to it is a stack of inspiration, some art books that I'm reading, and a lot of books that I cut out of. And also on the very, very top is my planners and travel notebook and stuff I keep to keep myself organized. This is what my art studio looks like from another angle. It's really small, but I've got 2 great windows. I do have my studio lighting. That's my studio lighting I use when I'm filming. And then that boom stand right in the middle there is where I hang my camera, so you could see down on my art studio space and you could see me work on my art desk. So on top of my table I have a paint palette, a jar for water for cleaning my brushes. I have some extra paper back there rolled up. I have a little bowl that has some die cuts in it. Behind my tripod back there I have 3 jars, one of some office type pens. The middle jar are all of my watercolor brushes, including my water brushes themselves, and then the jar next to it are my smaller regular brushes. And then down I have a little dish right here that I keep all of my jewelry in, and a spinner in, and just like random stuff that I want to keep. Back there is all of my art pens and pencils I like to play with. I have more in my desk, but these are the ones I use all the time. I have a calendar, which is my You Are a Badass calendar. I love it so much. It's my 2nd year of having it. And then I have a holder for my phone because, just like most people, I can't live without my phone 24/7. I keep my desk covered with a pad of watercolor paper, a very large pad of watercolor paper, and I do love that. I like filming on the white versus this really, really dark color that my table is. And then the last thing on my desk is this little calendar, and it's a weekly calendar that kind of helps me keep organized like what is the menu for the week, what are the videos I'm putting out for the week, and any other little details that I need to remember to keep myself organized. So then behind my art desk, I have this little bookcase that I absolutely love. It's a cubicle bookcase, so it has like little cubies in it. And starting over here, this box holds all of my household paperwork, my mail, bills, that kind of stuff. And then the whole front section here are all downloadable movies that I need to download on my computer, essentially. That's something I discovered when we were moving, that I had all of these electronic copies of movies that I hadn't actually taken care of to like do anything with. So those are all sitting there waiting for me to like get my act together to fix. And then here I have, I guess starting over here, that is a walk home pen for my walk home board. This is some graphic art electronic stuff. I have a jar of tools, has my brayer and some scraping tools and some dripping tools and some scratching tools. There's all different kinds of tools in there. Back there I have my tall favorite brushes. Those are my brushes that I use on a daily basis. Those are my Dina Wakley Media Art brushes back there. I also have some student grade brushes that I use for all of my gesso and my gel medium. I also have a jar of scissors, because you never can have enough scissors. And then I have a jar of palette knives back there, all different kinds. And then last but not least, on this little section, I have a mold of my teeth. I had gotten that from my dentist when I had a night guard made or something. And she's like, yeah, I don't know why we would throw it away. Do you want it? I'm like, sure. So I kind of keep it there. And you know what? My niece and nephew get the biggest kick out of that because I have my teeth in the art studio. So I love it. I just think it makes me happy. So it stays. And then the last thing on top of this little bookcase is my little spinner thingy. I got this at a hardware store and it was super cheap. I think it was like 20 bucks. And I actually have 2 more of these in storage, but this is the one that made it here. It's kind of wobbly here. So if we ever travel, all this stuff is gonna have to come down off of the counters because we don't want anything to fall when we're moving. But let me get a little bit closer and I'll show you what's in this spinner rack. So this spinner rack has all of my Tim Holtz Distress stains in them. I have all my browns in one section, all of my blues and purples and greens in another, and all of my orange, reds, and yellows in another. And I have all of my fine line bottles, which I actually just purchased a bunch of fine line bottles, and I put cheapy craft paint mixed with water in them, and I love them. I use them all the time. Then I have some irresistible bottles. They're called Pico Embellisher. They're great for making little polka dots. They work the same as the fine line bottles. I just like them both. And I have some walnut stain made up. I have some other miscellaneous stuff. There's ink up here. I have some splash ink, which they're brand new to me. I've never actually used them before, but I hear that you can make any color you want out of them. So that's what that is. And I have a couple of dimensional fabric paint in white and black, just because this is something my mom used to always play with. And if it was good enough for her, it's good enough for me. So that's what I got going on there. In this second spinner, in the second level of the spinner, I have a bunch of Adirondack alcohol inks, which are what most of those are. And then I have a few stickles in the front. I have all of my various sizes of clamps in there. I use all the time. My Tombow mono permanent adhesive tapes, a bunch of different kinds of inks, mostly black. I have one white. I have inks other places as well. Here are some re-inker inks for my distress inks. Here's some more re-inker inks. So this next shelf is a little more random. I have like, this is my bits and bobs section. I've also got some rings in here, and I've got my date stamp, which I always keep next to me. I have a bunch of glitter and little tiny beads and sequins in this one. I have a few pan pastels, some stamps, some letter stamps, which I love. I can't ever be without my letter stamps. This bottom shelf has a place for my glue sticks, some more beads. Those are seed beads. I have some tissue paper there, and I have some of the little daubers and dauber sponges because you never know when you need them. I also have a bunch of old, mostly hotel key cards and gift cards and stuff like that for scraping. And that's pretty much everything I've got in that little container there, that little spinny holder. So coming down the cubicle bookcase, I have This is where all of my journals and planners and bullet journals all live in this little section here. And then this bag right here is my travel art kit. This literally is the bag I just grab if I'm going out to an art class, and I just take that with me. It's got everything I could possibly need inside of it. In this cubie here is where I keep all of my daily computer and camera stuff that I need to access every day. It's got a charger, my extra batteries, it's got my power cords, external hard drives, microphones, all that kind of stuff. And then next to it I have my padded Duralar plastic, and I have a box of carbon paper. On the very, very bottom is more miscellaneous type stuff. Oops. I have things like tools, cutters, punches. I have a compass set down there, some extra tapes. I have a couple palettes in there, just miscellaneous, and I keep my paper towel in there because it fits. Okay, so then this cubicle here has some typing paper on the top of it. It's some vintage typing paper that I had found at a garage sale, and I absolutely love it. In this middle container, I have like pads of paper, and I have most of my office type stuff like printer ink and extension cords and cables and pads and highlighters and all the like charging cables, all the miscellaneous stuff that we've got floating around the house. That's what's in that one. I have some office paperwork there. And then here I have, these are all like my future to do something with type things. Like I have some empty boxes I think might be kind of cool to play with, an empty glass bottle. I have, you know, just all sorts of randomness. I have these, I just purchased the new Tim Holtz trinket tins, which I already have an idea for that, but they're just kind of sitting there waiting for me. I have a couple of little journals, a couple little fancy things. These are my little cards I've been making portable art journals with. Yeah, some empty Altoid tins and some little itty bitty mini art canvases. You know, just random stuff. And then next to it I have some of my office paper. Watercolor paper, tracing paper, and some lined paper. This one down here has a bunch of like special things to me. Some of my Brave Girl work that I've done. So these are really important to me. It has my soul restoration. I have my life restoration stuff in here. I've got a couple of planners. I've got my doodle book lives in here, which is what this is. I have a Kelly Ray Roberts book, which she's one of my favorite artists. I have my, what are these called? My collage cards. I have a couple of portable vision boards that I created over the years. I just keep in there because I love them so much. So this is kind of a sacred space for me. I keep my Soul Sister cards in here, and yeah, I just have lots of like little things that I absolutely adore. And then going along with that, this down here is a Brave Girls box that I absolutely adore, and when I'm feeling sad I can just pull things out of it and kind of look through, and just automatically makes me happy again. I have this little guy here holds my art apron. I just kind of keep that rolled up in there, and I keep some miscellaneous papers here, which are like little instruction books and little booklets I make, and then there's some photographs at the top and some like little things. These little guys, I keep all of my paper stuff organized in these little things, and some of them hold like magazine images, some hold words, some hold backgrounds, some hold paper for like book pages and whatnot, and that's essentially what all of those are. I have like my craft paper. This is all of my mediums. So I have like clear gesso, black gesso, white gesso. I have matte gel medium, water, different kinds of gessos. I have some water-based varnish. Here's where I keep my Aliens tacky glue that all lives in there, and then my wax paper lives in there as well. Oh, and I have 2 pads of watercolor paper. You just can't ever have enough watercolor paper, especially when you're a mixed media artist. You're usually needing it for something. So I've got a lot of that on hand, even in my little trailer. And then down here, this little catch-all is really all of my little travel art bags. I have different bags. These are just kind of all the things I need, I pull from when I'm going to an art class and I need to grab something to carry something else with. The other things I have in here are things like I have some photo cards, I have some magnets, I have some like trinkets, some bottles, some just miscellaneous stuff down there. I don't actually grab most anything out of here except for the bags, but that's kind of what's in here is a lot of stuff. Let's just say that if I had a junk drawer, that would be my junk drawer. The only thing else I wanted to show you is over in this corner I have a yardstick, a metal yardstick. I also have a very large pad of paper that I use pretty religiously that I got from the Container Store, and I have 2 pads of watercolor paper. Again, I say you can never have enough watercolor paper. I'm always, always, always needing it. And I like having it in different sizes. So that's what that's all about. So down here on my floor, I usually have my garbage can right there, but I just moved it. I keep my laptop there. That's where I do all my editing and whatnot. And then here is a basket full of stuff. Die cuts and, you know, all that stuff that you think that you need because you're going to use it and then you never use it because it just sits there. So when I say that this is the year I need to use my stash, this is what I'm talking about. There's tags, there are people, more tags, lots of like little kits where they come together with all their paper. I have lots of Project Life cards, more tags, more Project Life cards, die cuts from everywhere. So that's what that whole little basket is about. And I just kind of leave that down there. Okay, let's see what else we got going. Now underneath the art tabletop, I have these Elfest drawer systems, and this top one is just full of a bunch of different kinds of paints. I have Liquitex, I have Dina Wakley Heavy Body, I've got lots of Goldens, I've got lots of everything in this one. Just bunches and bunches. If I pull it out too far, it will actually collapse to the ground, so I'm not going to pull too far. The second drawer is my watercolor drawer. I've got so much watercolor, so many different kinds of watercolor, all sorts of everything in there. So if you want to see any of my collections in their entirety, like all of my watercolors or all of my acrylics, just let me know down in the comment section. I'll be willing to share that with you. But that's where those live. These are all of my stamp pads. I have a lot of them. I use archival ink mainly and my StazOn mainly. StazOn is what I actually use the most of, and I just started using my Ranger not too long ago. I have a whole drawer full of stamps. Stamps. I have lots of them. I love stamps. I have a lot of those. And then down here, the very bottom, are like collections of things that I don't really have another place for. So I chose an oversized drawer for those. And some of those things are my StazOn. No, these are my Inktense watercolor pencils. These are some Caran d'Ache. Here's some of the Jane Davenport. I think these are just colored pencils. I have a pen set. I have gelatos. I have some Inktense sticks, more watercolors. Those are my Dr. P.H. Martin watercolors. You've seen me playing with those over the last few weeks here. I have some Caran d'Ache gouache, some extra distress marker pens. I have some drawing inks, Prismacolor, oil pastels and pastels. And then I have my extras of my, what are you? They're watercolor paints. I can't remember the name at the moment. Oh yeah, these are my extra Daniel Smith extra fine watercolors. This is just where I keep my tubes, because I keep them swatched up in different watercolor palettes. So that's what that is. The middle section here, I have washi. Mama's got washi for days. So I've got tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of washi. There's a lot of that in there. It goes all the way to the back. And this is only half of my washi collection. I've got the rest in storage in another drawer just like this. So sometimes I will take some of this washi and take it to storage and take some washi from storage and bring it here. This drawer is full of cuts and paper cuts. It's all paper. This is the paper drawer. So this is where like all of my, you know, I've cut something and this is the leftover that all kind of lives here. Underneath this mess I have a bunch of paper pads, especially little paper pads, just because for size I thought it would be easier to use. I've got a couple little books here that I tear pages from. This is just my paper, my miscellaneous paper stash. This might be more like a junk drawer. I have pills I take every day, so I keep those there so I can see them. I have deli papers and wax paper that I use So I just, when I need to grab something really quickly, this is really super convenient. So I'll just grab something from there. This is where I keep my glue stick pad. So if I need glue stick something, I'll grab that pad to use it. I've got some more magazine pages under there if I need some more imagery. And then in the front here, this is where I keep, excuse me, this is where I keep all of my miscellaneous projects that I'm in the middle of working on. I also keep in here some Tic Tacs, some chocolate covered coffee beans, some gum, some mouthwash, and I also keep, not mouthwash, some lip conditioner from MAC, and I also keep some Ocho coconut in here. I had an instructor who told me that you always should have some chocolate while you are arting, so I always try to abide by that. I also keep some licorice because I like it. I don't eat much of that very often, but I don't know, it makes me happy that it's there. This next drawer is a little bit hodgepodgey too, but for the most part, this drawer consists of all of my stencils that I keep in here. I have a lot more stencils than this in storage, but these are the ones I keep with me because I use them all the time. I also keep some muslin and some embroidery stuff with me here just in case I want to use it in something and I have an idea for that. That's why that's sitting there. And I have some more, this is some of my deli paper. So when I need new deli paper, I just reach back there. But when I have need deli paper that I'm already using, I have a stash up here too. So I don't have to dig quite so far for it. So this drawer, the second to last drawer on this shelf, this is all of my pens and pencils. I have Premier Prismacolors in there. I've got, oh my gosh, I've got so much in here. This is basically my pens and pencils drawer is what I kind of consider this. If I'm gonna do a little drawing session, I just grab this one with me because it has my essentials in it, which for me is a couple of erasers and my favorite pencils in there. So easy peasy. I have lots of extras in here. I have a couple pencil sharpeners, some Premier watercolor pen or Premier Prismacolor pencils. I have some all different kinds of calligraphy pens and that kind of stuff. I have charcoal. I guess these are all of my extra office pens. I also have like blending stumps and that kind of stuff. So there's lots of randomness in there. Again, if you want to see like full details of what all this stuff is, just let me know in the comment section. I'll make sure to show you. This is part of my extensive marker collection. I have markers out the wazoo. So I've got all different kinds. The ones I use the most, it depends on really what I'm doing, but I'll use my Sharpie art pens. I use those a lot for planning, and I use my Posca paint pens a lot in my art journaling. And then I got a lot of other kind of pens too that I don't use terribly often, but I have them and they're pretty and I didn't want to get rid of them, so they just kind of stay in my stash. This drawer is my drawer O stickers. I have stickers out the wazoo here. I've got stickers, I've got press-ons, rub-ons, is that what they're called, rub-ons? Yeah, I've got tons, they go all the way back. So I've constantly got stickers to use, lots. And then here I have a bunch of bookmarks and like miscellaneous little paper things. I'm a big book reader, so I'm always looking for bookmarks. So this is where they kind of all live. My husband also is a book reader, so he's got a lot as well. So we both know where the bookmarks are. This is kind of my everyday tool stash. So like my Fiskars paper cutters in here. I have a couple of paint rags that I keep close at hand. I always keep a plastic, I use these plastic things for a palette if I'm needing a palette instantaneously and I don't know where my palette's at. I also keep a couple of rulers and whatnot in there, and then I also keep my old Fiskars in there, which I probably shouldn't. I probably should get rid of that, but I have not gotten rid of it yet, so that's where it lives. I have some Scotch tape. I have my Tim Holtz mini stapler. And I have corner rounders and a hole punch, some words that are going on, or some letters that are going on my soul book, and some portable paint brushes. So that's pretty much everything that's in this drawer. It's kind of a mess of stuff, but I do know what's all in it, so it's pretty handy to me. This one is a drawer that, it's kind of random because it's a taller drawer, so I just kind of fit what's in there. I picked stuff put in there because it fit. So I have my Tombow markers here. I have some baby wipes, some string of different kinds. I have a big spool of string I use a lot. And then in the back here I have all different kinds of hardware tape. I have drywall tape and carpet tape. I have some hockey tape, some foil tape, which I should be using shortly, and I have a roll of masking tape, which is always very handy. And my last drawer, which is probably my favorite drawer, let me move back so you can actually see. This is where all of my art journals live. So yeah, there's a lot in here. I have my 2 Oprah magazine journals that I created. This is a drawing sketchbook. Here's an extra soul book in case I decided I want to do another one, I don't know. This is my art journaling book. It's my Strathmore watercolor book. Here is this year's soul book. That's what this one is. And then I also have a Dina Wakeling Media journal. It's a multi-service journal. Has the different pages in it. I haven't started this one yet, but I want to, so I went and pulled that out of storage. I have an old kids cardboard book that I want to art in. This is my glue book. Here is my recipe book that I also use as another altered book art journal. This is last year's soul book. I like using it as reference. Here is a spiral sketchbook, but it's got black pages in it, so I thought that might be fun to play with. And then I've got a couple other like book type things. A couple of programs from Brave Girl Symposium, which is something I like to do every single year, and I like to keep those at the ready because I never know when I want to pull some information out of there. But that is the last of that. So that was my art studio in its entirety. I told you it was small. You did get fair warning. I hope that you enjoyed that. If you want to see any of my collections more closely, like my pens or my watercolors or my acrylics or whatever, just let me know and I'll be more than happy to give you a closer view of whatever it is that you want to see. I hope that you enjoyed that video. I hope that it was entertaining at least. And yeah, until next time, bye for now. Bye.